All right, welcome to Star Trek Explorers. Let's fly. This is another session of our Star Trek Adventures original series era campaign set aboard the Constitution class USS Venture on a 5-year exploratory mission. But for tonight's session, we're going to start with a flashback scene. We're going to role play one of the career events from Commander Hando Han, who in the present is the chief tactical officer aboard the U.S.S. Venture. But we're going to flash back to when he was just a young lieutenant, a junior officer aboard the U.S.S. Trenton, an Antares class vessel. And so just for this flashback scene, I'm going to have each of you play a different character than you usually do, except for Yong. You'll still be playing Lieutenant Han. Paul, you're going to be playing Lieutenant Yevix, a Vulcan science officer who is stationed temporarily on temporary assignment aboard the USS Trenton. And Lieutenant Yevix has expertise in spacefaring organisms, creatures that live in non-atmospheric ecosystems in deep space. And Yevix has amassed a big data set on a school of sentient organic creatures that live in the region that the USS Trenton is exploring at the moment. And so we will open up in the sick bay of the USS Trenton. Miguel, you're playing Ensign Zafoya, who's an Orion, a junior officer, and you are in sick bay. Go ahead and figure out a reason right now. Why is Ensign Zafoya in sick bay?
Probably because there was a sprained ankle or something, and this is going to be just a medical write-off, and to be like, yeah, you're fit for work, right? I hope so. Dear gosh.
Yeah, so you hurt your ankle. What were you doing?
We'll just say is there was basically an accident during one of the training drills. I'm not going to talk more about it.
All right.
It's embarrassing.
All right. And Yong, you are playing Lieutenant Han, and you are a security officer, junior security officer on the Trenton, but you've been stationed in the pharmacy of the sick bay. What kind of duty is Lieutenant Han doing there?
Well, he's a security officer, so he makes certain that some of the more sensitive narcotics are, controlled, so that people wouldn't just go in there and grab whatever they feel is needed. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, and that kind of assignment is generally thought of as not a particularly glamorous assignment for junior security officers, but someone has to do it. There isn't a whole lot for you to do. So you actually spend a lot of your time playing 3D chess with some of the other people who are assigned to the sick bay. That includes Lieutenant Yevix, this Vulcan scientist who Paul will be playing temporarily. And Yevix is conducting research and experiments on spacefaring creatures, but for now, you're maybe spending some off-duty time playing 3D chess with Lieutenant Han in the sick bay. So Paul, what if you've got any idea of what you think Yevix is like, or how Yevix approaches this game, go ahead and pipe in.
I would say, like any Vulcan, he's going to approach it very, very logically. It is the classic game of logic, after all.
That's right, a super strategic game. And the Vulcan adherence to logic might give you some advantages. Lieutenant Han, what is your strategy going up against a Vulcan with such a disciplined mind in a game like 3D chess?
He wants to rush it, basically concentrate on one side so that he takes out whatever fortification that he's building, and essentially try to end the game as quickly as possible.
Okay, so in that case, Lieutenant Han, give me a daring plus, I don't know. There isn't really a good one for a really good discipline for playing 3D chess. But because you're trying to rush it, I'm going to say it's a daring roll. You're sort of like going with some kind of really aggressive gambit early on in the game. So give me a daring plus science roll. And then Paul, I've got some statistics here in the Star Trek Adventures Science Division book for a Vulcan science officer. You'll do reason, or do you think Yevix would do insight or reason? Paul?
I think it would have to be reason. He's very much a logical player, being a Vulcan. I would expect a human to use insight.
Okay, so yeah, you'll use reason plus science, and for you that's a target number of 14. And as you guys are squaring off in this game of 3D chess, what is Ensign Zafoya doing? You're looking on and watching this game. What are you thinking? Miguel.
Zafoya is actually pretty much like confused at it. It's like, okay, regular chess, hard to grasp. Now it's 3D. It's like, okay, so how do you really win this? Like, usually I lose in like 5 moves. So yeah, now I can lose in like 1.
Does Zafoya is Zafoya asking questions out loud?
Yeah, I'm going to be asking questions.
How do Lieutenant Han and Yevix respond?
Well, Zafaya, we played this before back at the academy. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I still don't grasp it. That's why we went with the classic chess.
Well, it usually comes with, hey, look over there. It's switching pieces for me.
Yeah. Or turning the board around.
Well, I don't think it's going to work against Dr. Yevix over here.
Yeah,
But
so, we're also
I think,
talking about this out loud in front of the Vulcan. So I don't think we should do that.
well, psychology, my friend. It's all about getting into his mind. Well, Dr. Yevix, it's your move.
Okay, so I'm going to have Yong and Paul. This is going to be a difficulty 1 roll. You each have your target numbers, and whoever generates the most momentum will win the game. If you both tie, then we'll have you roll again.
Okay.
D20. All right, 1 success for me.
Okay.
Well, it looks like insight is winning this time out. 0.
Okay. So Lieutenant Han's aggressive early gambit pays off, and he wins the game shockingly early.
See, this is what I was talking about.
Well, there's the thing, Doctor. You were anticipating a very logical move. Sometimes you just have to throw away logic and trust in the luck.
The occasional battle can be won with speed and insight, but the war often takes hard, cold logic to win, I think you'll find.
I do agree, Doctor. So that's why I refuse to play another round with you, because I'm pretty certain that you saw through my strategy.
How about checkers?
If you had asked, I would have predicted your winning three moves earlier.
All right.
Suddenly,
maybe we could
go ahead, Yong.
Oh, maybe we could move on to 3D checkers then, and then he turns around to grab some checker pieces at that point.
Suddenly, the red alert klaxons sound, and the deck heaves beneath your feet, and a fleet of small craft swarm the Trenton. Some of them crash land into the hull of the ship and burrow into corridors where they deposit Klingon warriors who start storming the corridors.
That's bad.
What was that?
Do we need to get into ready station, sir?
Which, sir? Me?
Am
I the ranking officer?
So as Zafoya asked that question, one of the medical officers says, "I'm afraid not, Ensign. You're not cleared for duty. You're going to have to stay here. I'm trying to get answers, but you need to get back on the bio bed."
I can't. We're being invaded. All hands on deck.
That's an order,
Well,
Ensign.
Don't worry, Zafia. I'm gonna stay here and make sure that we do okay. Let me just check in with my commanding officer. And he pages Lieutenant Galen, who flips up his communicator and says, Lieutenant Galen, Hando Han here. It seems like there's an attack going on. Should I stay here in my station? A regular
Yes.
post?
You get a response from Lieutenant Commander Isabel Galen, the Chief of Security and your direct superior on the Trenton. And she says, Lieutenant Han, we're under attack from a swarm of Klingon vessels, and they have sent warriors on board the ship. We've been boarded. You are in sickbay right now with Lieutenant Yevix, who has collected massive amounts of data on sentient organic creatures that live in space in this region. If the Klingons get a hold of that data, we're almost positive that they will hunt down these defenseless yet intelligent creatures. That has to be a priority to save them. I need you to escort Lieutenant Yevix to the shuttle bay and get her off this ship. Do you understand?
I do, Lieutenant, but there are at least a score of crew members that are recovering over here in the infirmary. I don't see any other security officer than myself over here.
An entire species might depend on you getting that data and Lieutenant Yevix off this ship, someplace safe. That has to be the priority right now. You have your orders, Lieutenant.
Yes, ma'am. Hando out. And he turns to Zofia with a grim expression on his face. And he says, Hey, Zofia.
Yes.
It seems like I have my orders to escort Dr. Yevix.
You think you can make it? Do you need help?
Yeah, I think I could use your help. But what about all these people in the infirmary?
Great. I'm going to be stuck here regardless, so if you can give me a phaser, I can try to hold them off while you get the doctor out of here.
Will do. And then he goes over to one of the lockers and pulls out a phaser pistol, hands it over to Zafia, and he says, Zafia, after this is done, let's grab a drink, okay?
Don't worry,
we'll catch up
I'm going to make sure I cash that check.
All right. We'll catch up on the strategy to beat Dr. Yevix next time we play. All right, good luck to you, man.
Okay, good luck.
So yeah, Lieutenant Han and Lieutenant Yevix, you leave the sick bay. Lieutenant Han, you are leaving behind your old Starfleet Academy buddy, who is injured but is going to defend the sick bay as best he can. And Lieutenant Han, your orders are to escort Yevix to the shuttle bay. What does that look like?
The shuttle bay should be about, 5 minutes away from where he is right now. He's probably going to take the turbo lift and go down the corridor.
And are you trying to sneak? Are you going cautiously, or are you like going guns blazing?
Well, he's going to go guns blazing real quick. But, I mean, at first, he's trying to assess the situation. At first, he's moving cautiously. But if there's a crossfire going on, he's going to try to take Dr. Yevix and rush out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so I like that idea of a crossfire. So at some point, as you're getting close to the shuttle bay, there's suddenly a squad of Klingon invaders and a Starfleet security team, and the corridor has basically turned into a battle. And you've got to get across. You and Yevix have to get across that crossfire to get into the shuttle bay. How do you do that?
So he presses his own back against the wall. He peers out and waits for the blast to subside, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. So he's gonna look for a little pause and basically dive into it and roll across to the other side of the corridor.
Yeah, so you make it across with this pretty acrobatic move. Yevix, what's your response to that as you watch Lieutenant Han dive across with disruptor fire and phaser fire blasting into the bulkheads?
Lieutenant Han, that does not seem like the best way. We must go cautiously, logically. Throwing yourself across a corridor like that will not see you living for long.
And then he has his back against the wall from the other side, and he's basically trying to create cover for Yevix to come across. And he yells across, saying, "Dr. Yevix, it's not the time. If you can reason things out on how to not to get shot right now, that'll be a great thing. But let me create a cover for you." And he pulls out his pistol, a phaser pistol, and shooting in the direction of the fire, the Klingon fire. And he says, "Take the opportunity." Yep.
I would think that
Starfleet Academy. It's perfect.
Even though Yevix would obviously prefer to be cautious, he can see that Han has definitely kind of put up a decent cover for him, so he will take advantage of it. But he will give the lieutenant a raised eyebrow when he reaches the other side, if he reaches the other side. Or sorry, she reaches the other side.
Yep, she does. He gives him the iconic Vulcan raised eyebrow, but you make it across because Lieutenant Han's cover fire is like textbook, just like they teach you at tactical school at Starfleet Academy. Buys you just enough time to get across the corridor and into the shuttle bay, where you see that there is a shuttlecraft available.
Well, Doctor, my orders are pretty clear. It's to make sure that you're safe. Should we go in the shuttle? And he gestures.
Lieutenant Han, are you sending Yevix on the shuttle, or are you going to get on the shuttle yourself and pilot the shuttle?
He's gonna go in the shuttle and pilot the shuttle. Safety.
Cool. Yep. So you get behind the pilot seat, and Lieutenant Yevix scrambles into the co-pilot seat, and you rocket out of the shuttle bay of the Trenton. And you can see that the Klingons, it's like a fleet of smaller craft. There isn't like a big bird of prey or D7 or anything like that. It's like a swarm. And in the confusion and the chaos, you're able to get through. But you can look back and see that the Trenton is taking all sorts of heavy damage. But you're able to get out of there and somehow wait out the attack until help comes and the Trenton is able to fight off the Klingons. How is it that you are able to find safety, at least for a while?
So he takes refuge in the engineering section, right behind the engine, where there aren't any personnel stationed. So he has navigated the shuttle and docked it right beneath one of the engines of Trenton.
Okay, yeah, and so we can say there's maybe like a sensor blind spot or something like that, and you're almost like just tucked underneath one of the nacelles, and because of the interference from the nacelles, that the Klingons aren't able to detect you, and you just kind of wait out the battle until another Starfleet ship is able to bring in reinforcements and fight off the Klingons. And so for now, it looks like the coast is clear. What happens next?
Once he receives the order from Lieutenant Galen, Isabel telling him to make sure that the doctor is secure and that the station is clear and he could return, he goes back to the docking bay with the doctor, and as soon as he's dropped off, he rushes back to his station, the infirmary.
Yeah, as you rush back to the sickbay, and it's filled with casualties, not only Starfleet, but also some of the Klingons as well. And you get to the bio bed where your old friend Zephyr is sprawled out with who has sustained grievous wounds. And one of the medical officer, the same medical officer that told Zephyr that he had to stay put and wasn't cleared for duty, kind of grabs you before you're able to get to the bio bed and says he defended the sick bay heroically. A lot of people in this room owe their lives to Zephyr, but he took heavy disruptor fire. I'm afraid there's nothing we can do.
And he just hangs his head and says, I understand, and walks over to Zephyr and says, Zephyr, buddy, how you feeling?
Not good, man. I think I'm not going to be able to cash in that check you mentioned.
You gotta be kidding me. Sure, we can play around. And we gotta beat Dr. Yevix when he comes back here, right?
Yeah, you got to beat him, man. You got to make sure. Got to put him in his place, you know?
Yeah. I heard what you did back here. I think whoever survived here owe them their lives to you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Keep yourself safe, man. You got to keep it up on all that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you can pull through this. Remember back at the academy? Come on, buddy. We're serving together.
Man. Looking at your face, looking at the doctors, I know it's a lot worse than it looks.
Do you guys have any last words to exchange?
He just looks at him and says, hey, let's grab a drink together soon, all right?
Yeah.
We're gonna pull.
Yeah.
Next we meet. Through this.
Yeah.
Final frontier and all, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're out here.
Yeah. Next we meet, I'll definitely catch you up on that beer.
And, we gotta try the great delicacy from Vulcan. And he looks at him, and he's like rubbing his forehead, doesn't really know what to say. And he's like grinding his teeth, cursing himself. It's like, damn, I shouldn't have left this place. I should have stayed here. He's thinking that, but he's not saying that aloud.
Mm-hmm.
Zephyr, you might be able to almost anticipate, because you know Lieutenant Han so well, what he's thinking.
Yeah. But there's also the fact is there's his death coming in, so it's like sudden. So it's like, yeah. And then it's like, trying to get a last word in, and then it's just like, nope. Gone.
Yeah, so the biobed monitors all show that Zephyr is gone. And does Lieutenant Han say or do anything at that moment?
Yeah, we're supposed to go on to explore strange new world, buddy. You can't just go without me. And he looks at him and says, this wasn't supposed to happen. This isn't what we signed up for. And so he just looks at him and says, all right, good luck, buddy. I'll see you on the other side. And he stands up.
Cool. So Yong, this career event has had some kind of lasting effect on now Commander Hando Han's values? How has this informed Commander Han's personality and his career going forward?
So a few of his values have, solidified through this experience. One of the values that drive him is I will not fail my duty when others rely on me. And that goes all the way back to this particular event. And, you live once, live courageously. He should have perhaps fought off some of these Klingons rather than hiding back there underneath in a shuttle underneath the engine block. And he's thinking that perhaps he should not have taken the shuttle off from Trenton to hide. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Commander Han is definitely, he feels like he doesn't want to let any of his fellow officers down ever again, to feel that sense of loss that he's just been going through. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
All right. So we will cut to the present. This is like 12, 15 years later, and Lieutenant Han is now Commander Han, now the Chief of Tactical and Security aboard the U.S.S. Venture. And Paul, I just put a captain's log in the chat. Can you read that?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the present as Captain Harriman, of course.
Okay. Captain's log, stardate 1340.7. We've arrived at Starfleet Space Lab Refuge Alpha, where a small science team has spent the last 3 years studying a pod of endangered gormaganders that appear to draw substance from nearby plasma storms. The science team has dramatically increased the Federation's understanding of these wondrous spacefaring creatures, but some of the gormaganders have gotten sick recently. Commander U.S.S, who leads the science team, has asked us here to see if we can help.
So this scene is aboard the U.S.S. Venture, Constitution-class starship on the bridge, and now Commander Han, you know that now Commander U.S.S is the leader of this small science team aboard Refuge Alpha, which is a space lab, like a kind of like Regula 1 on the Wrath of Khan. I think I've got a picture here. As the U.S.S. Venture shows up and finds this small science outpost. And beyond the outpost, you can see that there's like a permanently raging plasma storm. And that seems to be where this pod of gormaganders, a couple dozen, like these space whales, they seem to draw sustenance from these plasma storms. So what is going on aboard the bridge of the Venture as it warps into orbit of Space Lab Refuge Alpha?
Captain, the space is clear of any hostiles. It doesn't seem like there's any threat around.
We should be fine. This is known and friendly territory. Let's contact the Space Lab, tell them that we're here, and contact Commander U.S. and see what sort of help he requires and what sort of personnel we can provide.
Yep, so you're able to hail the lab, and snapping up on the view screen is maybe an older face now, a Vulcan woman with maybe some silver streaks in her hair, but it is a face that Commander Han recognizes as U.S.S. And she says, "Welcome to Refuge Alpha, U.S.S. Venture."
Thank you, Commander. It's good to be here. We hear that you're doing a lot of good work with these fabulous creatures. Now, what can we do to help?
Well, we could use your scientific and medical expertise. The entire pod of gormaganders has suddenly started acting very strangely, and they appear to be no longer eating, flying in circles in sporadic patterns, and one of the older gormaganders has actually just succumbed to some kind of unknown medical condition, and we would appreciate your help in diagnosing that condition and perhaps helping the other gormaganders before they suffer the same fate.
Sure, we'll do whatever we can to help. I'll check around the science teams we have on board and see if we have any xenobiologists specialities. Send those over to you to take a look at some of your data. Would it help as well for the venture to carry out some close-range scans on the gormaganders while they're in deep space?
Yes, certainly. We have a set of sensors aboard the station, but my guess is the venture, because of your mobility, you might be able to get a closer look, especially inside the ion storms, the plasma storms, that we do not have the capabilities to venture inside. But perhaps the best place to start would be to examine the gormagander that has just died.
Certainly, we've got a science team together, and we'll beam over and take a look. We'll take a gander. Okay.
She cocks an eyebrow and says, "This is no laughing matter, Captain. This is an endangered species."
Oh, that absolutely, of course. Old joke. We'll beam over as soon as we can.
Excellent. And the view screen goes back to a view of the science outpost.
Perhaps Dr. Ozil is familiar with xenobiology of gormaganders, Captain.
Very well. The doctor can join us over there. I believe you may know Commander Yeviks, yes?
Yes, sir. It's been about a decade, a couple more years past a decade or so.
She doesn't appear to have much of a sense of humor, does she? But then, for a Vulcan, I guess not.
Yeah, she's a quintessential Vulcan, and a Vulcan scientist at that. But she's a good woman.
Well, let's put together a few teams, and we'll see if we can beam over and help them out.
Yes, sir.
So who do you want to head over to the space lab?
Well, we've got the doctor, I guess, if he's got xenobiology as a specialty. We're allowed a few support crew, aren't we? So let's see if we can gather up maybe one or two specialities in that area as well. Take them over with us.
Sure. Do you want to create new characters, or do you want to grab a previous supporting cast?
Have we got anybody that might be suitable? I don't think we've dealt with this kind of thing before, have we?
You've got a couple of science officers. You've got an ensign Andorian male named Tulak, and then the chief science officer, who's also a Vulcan female named Talasa. And if you wanted to assign one of them an appropriate focus that could help, you could. Or you can just create a new character with an appropriate focus. Up to you.
Well, let's take our chief science officer, Talasa, and we'll pick one of the others to acquire a xenobiology specialty.
Excellent. What kind of character you want to create? Let's start with species and name.
I don't know, guys. Shout it out. What do you think? We're already going over with one Vulcan, and we've got another one waiting for us over there, so probably not a Vulcan.
Unless it's a Romulan.
No, it can't be a Romulan.
Orion?
We could always go with Andorian and just see if the Vulcans and the Andorians get on.
What's the pig man? What's the name of the pig man?
Tellarite.
Yeah, well, I'll just have an angry Tellarite guy.
Tellarite? Okay, cool.
Always angry.
Everybody knows Tellarites are always angry.
How about a name?
Boran.
Boran? Okay. Lieutenant Boran, a male Tellarite science officer. And what kind of expertise does he have that could be of value on a gormagander autopsy?
Well, you could make it very specific and say he's a xenobiologist with experience in cosmozoans.
Excellent.
I looked that one up.
Cool. So yes, he has xenobiology as a focus. Do you want me to use just like one of the stat blocks from the back of the book, or you want to create stats for him?
Use one of the ones out of the back of the book for the moment, I would.
Okay, sounds good.
We can always elaborate on it later.
Yep. Okay, cool. So we got Dr. Ozil, we've got Lieutenant Talassa, we've got Lieutenant Boran, who's a new character. We've got Captain, are you going over?
Absolutely. Don't know always, even if I'm not actually needed.
That's right. Captain Harriman. And then Commander Han, are you going? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So you've got 5 members of the Venture crew reporting to the transporter room, and you beam over to the science lab, Refuge Alpha, without any incident. And Commander Yevix greets you, and she very pointedly speaks only to Captain Harriman. In fact, Commander Han, you get the sense that she doesn't even really want to look at you. Even for a Vulcan, it seems pretty cold. But she says, Captain Harriman, welcome to our science lab.
Thank you, Commander. And I'll introduce the other members of the team. And I believe you know Commander Han.
She says, without making direct eye contact with Commander Han, yes, it is agreeable to see the commander again.
It's good to see you too, Doctor.
Right this way. I would. We have the carcass of the gormagander in one of our cold storage bays.
I'll lead on.
So yeah, she leads you down into one of the bays of the science lab, and she says, this was one of the oldest members of the pod. We nicknamed him Jim. And the other, for several days, he started showing very strange behavior, not eating, moving in sporadic patterns, not going into the plasma storms where they generally gather their food. And then he just sort of stopped and just started drifting. And we tried to bring him aboard and save him, but it just didn't work. And we're not exactly sure what led to his demise. And so she opens up a big, a door kind of hisses open, and there's like a blast of cold air, and you can see that there is a preserved gormagander carcass laid out.
Presumably a little smelly.
Absolutely. And she says, "Oh, we've gotten pretty used to working with the gormaganders. I forgot to think about that the smell might cause problems for you."
From what I hear, Vulcans have a heightened sense of smell. So, yeah, my apologies to you.
We do, but I appear to have grown accustomed to it.
Yeah, it might take a little more getting used to for us, but okay, team, away you go. Do they have any idea at this point what might have caused the gormagander to die? Any?
They exhibited very strange behavior. They're all, in fact, the entire pod continues to exhibit this strange behavior with loss of appetite, moving in strange patterns, drifting and listless in space. And we worry that more of the pod will meet the same fate as Jim. In fact, Jim's mate, that we've nicknamed Pam, is also on the verge of death as well. And we're worried that if we don't find some cause and find a way to treat it, that Pam could be dead as well in a few hours. So if you could help us move quickly, that would be beneficial.
Absolutely. Do you know if there have been any sort of changes in the local area of space? Any change to, I guess, what you consider to be their kind of biosphere?
None that we could detect. The plasma storms that occur naturally in this region of space is what has attracted the pod for years. And we have detected all the activity in the plasma storms has been within normal parameters.
As far as you can detect.
As far as we can tell, we do not have the shuttles that we have available to us will not could not survive in the more violent center of the plasma storms. So if there is some kind of activity in there, we haven't been able to detect it.
Maybe something worth checking out then. Okay, that's one place we can start. Any other suggestions, Doctor?
If we're glad to have Dr. Ozil aboard, perhaps he could examine the carcass as well, and maybe he can find something with a fresh set of eyes that we might have missed.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I guess I'll get going. I'll get into the room and I get open up the doctor's bag, put the medical instruments one by one.
Has Dr. Ozil ever conducted an autopsy on a creature like this before?
No, not really. Technically, xenobiology usually means sentient species, all of this. Never did something that was just space. We did do a rabbit that was found on another planet that looked like a rabbit, but was a lot different from the rabbits we know on Earth.
Well, I don't know how biologically similar that rabbit is to our gormaganders, but I am eager to hear any insights that you might have, Dr. Ozil.
Yes. So I start getting through it, typing on the terminal and then trying to see all the stuff they have cataloged to get that going. It's going to be it's going to be a while. I can't walk in and make an amazing statement right now.
Yes. So Yelix says, well, then I will leave you and your team to examine the carcass, and I have some other business to attend to. And she starts to leave the cold storage bay.
Yes.
And he looks at Dr. Ozil and says, well, Dr. Ozil, do you really know anything about these creatures?
No, not really. I guess I'm thrown into the deep end. Got called by the captain while I was just lounging outside the med bay. Had a couple of chairs set up. Me and the nurse were just having coffee, and then got cold. Then I had to get a data pad to know all about the gormaganders. Finding out about the fact is you were originally assigned to that on board something else. Yeah, and now here I am.
Now you know why you were assigned over here, because all you were doing all day was sitting around drinking coffee.
Well, I am such an amazing doctor that we had no one in sick bay, so I was allowed a brief reprieve, Captain.
Well, I think if nobody has any objections, I'm going to head back to the Venture and make for one of these ion storms or plasma storms and see if we can do a deep scan of it. See if there's anything in there that might be causing problems.
Yes, and meanwhile, I'm going to go confirm what was the cause of death with the records here and see. It's going to be a while.
Okay. Well, we'll check in when we get back from doing our scans and see how things are going.
So that's a really good plan. Who is going to stay on the space lab and who's going back to the Venture?
I'm going back to the Venture.
Okay.
I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm better with starships than I am with gormagander autopsies.
Very good. What about Commander Han?
And he looks to the captain and says, "Captain, should I return to the ship with you, or should I keep, should I maintain the security detail for the doctor?"
Entirely up to you, Commander. If you feel that the situation warrants it, then yes, you can stay on board.
I'll stay with the doctor, Captain.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so Captain Harriman, you transport back to the Venture. We will stay on the space lab for the moment. Miguel, as Dr. Ozil, you can begin your examination of the gormagander. This is going to be an extended task, and each task is going to be, it's going to take several hours. This is a huge creature. It's going to take you some time to go through it. Someone can assist you. That could either be Lieutenant Bayram, or it could be Talasa or Commander Han, if you want it to be. But you know that the other gormaganders are getting sicker by the hour, and so time is of the essence here.
Great. You're expecting me to do a miracle. I'll get the other person that is the Vulcan to help me, and then I'll spend a threat to get an extra D20, and I will activate bold medicine, where I get to re-roll in case I get a failure.
So before you roll, I'll tell you what you need to do. It's a reason plus medicine roll, and the base difficulty is 4, and the magnitude is 4. So you need 4 breakthroughs. Each of you has a point of determination, and Yong, since you're there, you can roll for Lieutenant Talasa, the Chief Science Officer. And she has a target number of 14.
Okay.
Right.
You can do it, Yong.
2d20.
Will you assist? You just roll 1.
Oh, okay. I got 7.
Okay, 1 success.
I got 17. That's on the nose. 4. That's under medicine, and then focus applies. So that's 3, and then 4, and 5 successes.
Total of 5 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, thank God, it's still carbon based.
You generate a point of momentum, and so now you've got to roll your 2. Whatever your medicine discipline is plus 2. You roll that number of challenge dice, D6s.
I need to buy more D6s. Okay. Writing down my results, and then 2 is 7, so I gotta roll 4 more. Ooh.
So 1s, 5s, and 6s are 1s. A 2 is a 2, and then 3s and 4s get thrown out.
3 and 4s are not counted, but this is what I got. 1, 1, and 5 and 6. So
total of 4. Okay. So I will mark 4 off the work track, and it's a work track of 12. So it's down to 8. You did not achieve a breakthrough on your first attempt, but the base difficulty drops from 4 to 3 on your next attempt. But that took you several hours to do, and the other elder gormagander in the pod, Pam, is getting sicker and sicker. She's starting to almost like she's not really. You've got like a sensor lock on her out on space. She's drifting by the science lab, and she is basically just adrift. Let's cut before your next attempt back to. Is there anything else you guys want to do on the science lab at the moment?
I'm gone. Just you guys.
Okay, so let's cut back.
We just feel along the lines of like, okay, great. There's the heart. That's the stomach. It has veins. That's good. Ozil is just being like, I'm trying to make sure this is like a sort of standard biology. Nothing weird here.
So let's cut to the bridge of the Venture. What is Captain Harriman doing?
Okay, Captain Harriman, we're going to break orbit around the science station. We're going to use the sensors to find a swarm of these gormaganders, or find a clump of them, and pick one of these, what is it, an ion or a plasma storm that's nearby. And we're going to go in, take a look.
So we'll say at the helm is Ensign John Talbot, who's done some pretty skillful flying for you in the past. Expertly flies the Venture into the plasma storms, and you can feel the deck rattling beneath your boots, but it's nothing you haven't experienced before.
Yeah, bit of turbulence.
And what are you looking for?
Hard to say. I guess anything out of the ordinary. I'm assuming that we've got records of these types of storms in the computer banks. So let's do a few scans and just see if there's anything different about these storms.
Yeah. I'm going to say the sensors are telling you that this is a pretty standard plasma storm, and it looks like the gormaganders feed off of what's the word? That they feed off some of the energy from the plasma storms, and these are pretty standard. If you want to do an in-depth sensor scan, you can order Ensign Tulak, the Andorian, to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Try as well get as much information as we can while we're here.
Sure. Give me, this is going to be a reason plus science roll for Tulak, which will be target number of 14. And he doesn't really have any focuses that apply. This will be a difficulty 3 roll, and you have 1 point of momentum at your disposal.
That's not going to be enough to get an extra dice, is it? 2 for the first dice.
It's just 1 for the first one, and then 2 for the second one. So you could get an extra die with that momentum.
Let's go for an extra dice then, and the ship can help as well if somebody wants to roll for the ship.
Yes, good call, Paul. The ship will be sensors plus science, which is a target number of 11 for the Venture.
Okay, well, I got a 9, a 13, and a 1, so that's going to be 4 successes.
Excellent.
Who needs the ship? Just go to the window, take a look outside.
Does anyone? You could generate another point of momentum with a success. So if someone wants to roll,
yeah, sure. Well, I've already got 1 point because it was difficulty 3, wasn't it? So I generated 1 momentum. So somebody rolled for the ship, and then we could get 2 momentum back from spending 1.
Yep. And it's a target number of 12 or 11. I'm sorry, 11 for the ship. Yep. Go ahead.
3. Success.
Okay. So, Paul, you just generated 2 more points of momentum as Tulak is staring into the scope at the science station on the bridge. And he is watching the electromagnetic discharges from this plasma storm. And he says something that interests you, Captain Harriman. He says it's almost as if the discharges are like a pattern, like neurons firing in a brain. Like maybe there's something alive in here.
Well, as in the storm itself is alive, or just something in the storm that might be alive.
What's that, Paul? I couldn't quite hear you.
I was just saying, does that mean it's something in the storm that might be alive, or the storm itself? Can he detect any kind of, I don't know, sort of definition, any sort of form to this thing?
Yeah, so if you spend a point of momentum, he can answer that question.
Oh, go on then.
I don't think that the plasma storm itself is alive, sir, but I think that there might be some kind of electromagnetic life form or life forms that are living here.
Okay. The patterns that you're picking up in these in the storm, can we potentially feed those into the universal translator and see if we can pick up some sort of a language?
You could certainly try. That would probably be like a reason plus engineering roll with a difficulty of 2.
You could certainly try. That's typical Gamemaster, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to have to be, what's his name again?
Tulak.
Tulak. It's going to have to be him that tries it. So
he's got a target number of 12. It's going to be difficulty 2. And the ship can assist with computers plus science, which is a target number of 10.
Somebody want to roll for the ship?
Or it'll be communications. It's the same. So yeah, target number of 10.
Just 1 success.
Someone roll for the ship, see if it helps.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have rolled. I got natural 20.
Okay.
Yes.
So, it almost looks like the plasma storms respond to the sensor scans from the Venture, and these electromagnetic discharges lash into the ship, and the hull bucks beneath you. Captain Harriman, you fall out of your command chair onto the deck, and all the power goes out. And so that complication is going to create a power outage on the ship.
Okay. And I'm assuming we had the shields up, which is why we avoided the worst of it.
Yeah, everyone seems to be okay. No serious injuries on the bridge or anything, but it seems like most systems are no longer functioning right now.
Okay, I'll call up engineering and ask them when they think they can get the mains back online.
You get a response saying, unsure, Captain. It's almost as if something is feeding off the warp core.
Can we get emergency power? Can we at least maneuver on impulse?
I can get you thrusters, sir. I can get you emergency lighting and environmental systems and thrusters. But it's going to take us a while to get back to the science station on thrusters.
Okay, well, let's do what we can for the moment. If whatever is out there is starting to feed off our warp core, then the sooner we get out of here, the better. So let's make some headway on thrusters and give priority to getting at least our impulse engines working.
Aye, sir. And we will cut back to the space lab. What's going on at the space lab with Commander Han and Dr. Ozil?
I'm just like, I have a strange feeling something is wrong with the Venture, but I can't place it. And it's back to looking at the cadaver.
Okay, so this is going to be a difficulty 3 task this time. It's reason plus medicine. And Yong, you can assist with Lieutenant Talasa. She can roll 1 die, and her target number is 14.
2.
Okay, that's 1 success.
Okay, time for me to roll.
You need 2 more, Dr. Ozil.
Okay, I got 2 more. So
okay,
got it.
You got just what you needed. So roll your challenge dice again, 2 plus your medicine discipline.
Okay, so 1, 5, 6. Good.
What'd you get?
1, 5, 6, 5, 1. So 5.
Yes, 5. Okay.
And does the 5 and 6 they also have the effect thing? Is there any special effects I have on the track?
Not on this extended task, but
okay.
You did get your 5, which is good enough for 1 breakthrough.
Good.
And you've spent several hours on this task now, and you start looking at the brain of the gormagander, and you notice a strange neural imprint has been left in Jim's brain cells. You've also worked off a total of 9 of the work track, and it's a work track of 12. So if you can get 3 more, that'll give you another breakthrough. However, you start getting some more bad news on the sensors, as it looks like Jim's mate, Pam, has also died of whatever it is that killed Jim. The 2 oldest gormaganders in this pod have both succumbed, and the sensors are telling you that the other members of the pod are displaying the exact same symptoms.
That's bad. Great. I'm just going to look at our Hando Han. I'm just going to be like, is she like trying to guilt me to work faster?
I don't
Working
know.
as fast as I can, for goodness sake. Made some discoveries here, but yeah.
I think you're doing your best, Doctor. Lieutenant Yevix isn't necessarily the warmest person that I know. And I don't know. I mean, ever since I got to the station, I feel like she's trying to avoid me. It feels like she has grown colder over the years, as if that's possible.
What did you do to piss her off, man?
I saved her life.
Okay. Usually when you save someone's life, they don't act like you just ran over their cat years ago, and they're still angry about it.
Well, there's a story that goes with that. We were in a sick bay, and I had to escort her to the shuttle bay. We avoided a Klingon raid, but eventually, when we returned to the sick bay, we found out that there were a whole lot of casualties. I don't know whether she blames me for it. I sure as heck feel very guilty about the whole ordeal.
Okay.
Guys, are you guys doing okay on time?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Paul, you doing okay on time?
Yep, I'm all good.
Okay, in that case, let's take just a quick break, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Is that good for you guys?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, I am back. Are you fellas back?
I'm back.
Back.
Awesome. I just had to tell the kids goodnight. My daughter's not being particularly accommodating. But I'm back.
Well, yeah. But it's being accommodating? No, they'll never be.
You're right, especially around bedtime.
It's being able to sleep. It's one of those things that's only appreciated when you get older. That's it. So, like, like the stuff we grew up watching, like the Rugrats with us too, doing the putting at 3 a.m. meme. You're like, you really don't get it as a kid, and then as you watch it as an adult, you're like, oh god, I got it. Oh no.
Yong, just let us know when you get back. Just to reset the scene a little bit, you guys have 1 point of momentum. The venture is in a bit of a state of crisis, having been struck by a really powerful electromagnetic storm inside these plasma storms near the space lab. And Dr. Ozil, you are working feverishly to figure out what is wrong with these gormaganders.
Mm-hmm.
Any guesses? Any hypotheses?
Yeah, I'm not giving any hypotheses yet. I'm just saying is there's something wrong with the neural networks, and looking at what's supposed to be on here, and then with the research data, just really confusing here.
Hey, Yong, you got any hypotheses about what might be wrong with these gormaganders?
I think they've been feeding on the plasma, and so they're sort of been eating the creatures, the plasma creatures over there, and they're probably retaliating. Out of character, that's my assumption.
Cool, maybe. So let's have Dr. Ozil attempt another task in this extended task. This time it's going to be difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's reason plus medicine. And Yong, you can roll for Lieutenant Talasa, who has a target number of 14, who is assisting.
I'm going to spend a momentum to get an extra dice, and let's see.
Okay.
Okay, 2, 3,
11.
and 7. So 1 success, 3 success, 5 success, 6 success.
Okay. So that is going to generate 4 points momentum. And you can roll your challenge dice. You can spend momentum to get extra challenge dice if you like.
Okay, 1 second. I just need 3, right?
Well, no, you're going to want to roll, but you need 3 more to finish the work track. But you need 3 more breakthroughs to finish the extended task.
Okay, so 5, 5. Okay, then I'll spend 2 momentum to get 2 extra challenge dice. So
okay.
Instead of rolling 7 dice, I'm rolling 9.
Yep.
And 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9.
9. Okay. Very good. So that maxes out the work track, which is a breakthrough. You also got more than 5, which is a second breakthrough. So you get some valuable information. You're really starting to make some progress on this autopsy of the gormagander. So the first breakthrough, you notice the strange neural imprint in the gormagander's brain cells. Now you realize that this imprint looks like it was the result of telepathic stimulation. And the second breakthrough allows you to realize that this telepathic contact spread to other parts of the gormagander's brain, essentially rewiring the animal's behavior.
That's bad. Now I got to figure out how to unwire that. You're like, yes, I solved it. Oh, crap, I got more work.
Yeah, so you figured out what is causing the problems. You think that another, one more breakthrough will probably give you enough information to formulate some kind of neural inhibitor that could reverse the telepathic stimulation.
Mm-hmm. But we got to figure out what is doing that telepathic manipulation.
I'm glad you said that, Miguel, as we cut back to the U.S.S. Venture with only emergency lighting on the bridge. And what is Captain Harriman thinking?
I'm thinking it was probably not such a good idea.
Paul, I'm going to spend 2 points of threat as yet another electromagnetic charge lances out from the plasma storms into the Venture. But this time it targets specifically the Venture's bridge. And even more specifically, it targets the figure sitting in the captain's chair as almost like a bolt of lightning crashes into Captain Harriman's chest and immediately knocks him unconscious. And everyone around the bridge is just absolutely startled by this sight. But you find yourself, Captain Harriman, transported someplace strange, somewhere bizarre, somewhere impossible. Do you have any ideas for where that might be? Like, let's get weird with this scene, Paul. What's like the strangest sci-fi idea you could come up with for where Captain Harriman might be transported?
It would probably be somewhere familiar. I'm thinking maybe somewhere like Starfleet Academy, or maybe back to my parents' house in New York.
Your call. Either of those could work.
We'll go for Starfleet Academy.
Okay. You find yourself back on the green, perfectly manicured lawn of Starfleet Academy in San Francisco. The sun is, it's a beautiful Bay Area, California day. Sunny, not a cloud in the sky. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge off in the distance. What are you thinking?
Somebody's probably just planted a new tree around here, haven't they? Somewhere where maybe 1,000 years from now people can meet up. I'm a little kind of stunned. I'm sort of looking around and thinking, what the hell? How can I be in a nebula, in a plasma storm 1 second and here the next? That doesn't make sense. Is there anybody around that I can see?
Yes, there is. There's another cadet that you recognize as Cadet Trent Owens. People call him Biff. He's kind of like a big jock kind of guy, someone who has been a bully to you, kind of calls you rich boy, makes fun of your background, your privileged background.
Oh boy.
The odd thing about this, and he's like, kind of charging up to you, like he's going to shove you, calling you rich boy. He's got like a sneer on his face. He looks just like you remember from your Starfleet Academy days. You, on the other hand, you're still wearing your captain uniform, like you just stepped right off the bridge of the Venture.
Okay. And he's sort of charging towards me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shout out to him. Attention, cadet!
Nice try, rich boy. I'm not taking any orders from you.
Okay, so he obviously doesn't see the uniform. Okay. All right, if I've got to do it the hard way, Biff. Come on, then.
Biff.
I'm figuring I've probably got about, what, 10 years experience on him now? When it comes to hand-to-hand combat.
Yep.
Let's see if I can get a little satisfaction out of this.
Okay. How do you fight him?
Oh, I'm not after like killing him or anything. I just want to put him down on the ground as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And as humiliatingly as possible.
Yeah, give me a daring plus security roll.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to say that. Daring plus security. Where are we? 10. Yeah, it's not my best, but hey.
Biff got only one success.
Ooh, do we have any momentum?
You have 2 points momentum.
I'll spend one for the extra dice then. I want to make this a one-time thing.
Okay.
That's going to be 2 successes.
Okay, go ahead. So you are able to do some kind of like judo throw, and Biff goes over your shoulder and lands with a thud on the lawn at Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, I kind of want to come down with my sort of elbow on his chest and just kind of look at him and go, when I say attention, cadet, I mean attention. And
Biff acts strangely. You know, the sneer, the bully sneer, kind of wipes away to a blank, sort of foreign look expression on his face, and he says, "The subject is combative. This was unexpected."
Okay, now do you want to tell me who you really are?
And we will cut back to the bridge of the Venture with Captain Harriman's unconscious form kind of sprawled back in the captain's chair. And there is a rivulet of blood starting to come out from his nose, a sign of the immense strain that is being placed on his neural pathways.
Uh-oh.
And we cut back to the space lab. What's going on there? Dr. Ozil and Commander Han.
Alrighty, guys. I'm making some progress. Apparently, I'm trying to synthesize a way to negate the neural conditioning. So give me some more time. All right?
Yep. So, Miguel, you've got another attempt with Reason plus Medicine. This is difficulty 1 now. You need 1 more breakthrough to complete the extended task. However, this has taken you several hours, and if you are unable, you've had 1 of the elder gormaganders die. If you are not able to get your last breakthrough here, more of the pod will die as well.
Alrighty. That means one thing. I am going to be, we have a momentum still, right?
Yep, you've got 1 point of momentum, and Yong, you can roll for Talassa with a target number of 14, 1d20.
Okay, I'll take that point of momentum, and I'm rolling 3. Okay. I got 3 already.
What'd you get, Yong?
2 success.
Okay. So that's a total of 4 successes. You've got 3 points of momentum, and you can roll your challenge dice.
Alrighty, I'll spend 3 of those so that I have 10.
Okay.
Alrighty, I say that, and then I got 3 2s in a row.
Excellent. So that is enough for your final breakthrough, as you are able to formulate a neural inhibitor that will reverse the telepathic stimulation that is plaguing this pod of gormaganders. And Commander Yevix is looking over your shoulder, and she says, "Doctor, the formula you've come up with for this inhibitor is ingenious."
Thank you. Yes. It should work, hopefully. I mean, coming up with it wasn't the hard part. Getting these on it is going to be.
Yes, how do you suggest we deliver this inhibitor to the gormaganders?
Good question. How are they when you approach them?
They are a docile species. I think if perhaps I could accompany someone in a worker bee or a shuttle, and we could deliver it that way through the deflector. Actually, we have worker bees equipped with arms, with mechanical arms that are made for working directly in contact with the gormaganders.
Yeah, that actually is going to work. Yeah.
Commander Han, I believe you are the most experienced pilot in the lab right now.
I would love to participate. Sure. Just lead me, lead me the way, and I'll be able to pilot it, man.
So yeah, she says, Commander Han, you do the piloting, and I will work the equipment to deliver the inhibitor to the gormaganders. Dr. Ozil, once again, thank you for your tireless work.
No worries. Now it's up to you.
I believe you saved the pod today.
Before I go, Dr. Ozil, so do you think it's some sort of an assault on these creatures?
I don't think so. If they wanted them dead, they would have been dead.
Well, 2 of them have already died.
Yes,
and
but that's
I think
probably because of long, prolonged exposure, not because of like real maliciousness.
Is it ongoing?
Yeah, it's ongoing. Whatever it is, it's affecting them.
The telepathic assault, I mean, is that ongoing, and does it have a source? Or is it something that's already in place that's progressing through them?
It's most likely a source. I do not know. I need to actually look at what they're doing. All I've been able to do is treat the symptoms.
Thank you, Doctor.
No problem.
Yep, he joins U.S.S.
So, Commander Han, as you and U.S.S, these worker bees are really small craft. You sort of have to. It's pretty close quarters getting in there together. And once again, you sense this kind of stern, kind of cold, even for U.S.S. Like she's just let's focus on this mission. Let's get this done. Save the gormaganders and get back to the lab as fast as possible, Commander.
It sounds like a plan, Doctor. But I'm glad to see you after all these years. How you been?
I would prefer that we focus on the mission at hand.
As you wish.
Oh, no.
And so you guys climb into this tiny little worker bee that's got some mechanical arms attached to it. And Commander Han, give me this could be a daring roll if you want it to be, or it's control plus con. And we'll say it's difficulty 1.
I'll do control plus con.
Okay.
Daring is actually a little better, but I think I don't wanna make the Vulcan doctor upset again by going with daring. So control plus con. Yeah, 1 success.
Okay, perfect. So you're totally competent as you pilot the worker bee out of it's like a tiny little shuttle bay on the space lab, and you pilot it into this big school of gormaganders, and some of them are quite immense. Some of them are younger. They're like pups. They're all kind of floating together. These space whales kind of floating around on the outskirts of the plasma storm, and U.S.S uses the mechanical arms to deliver the neural inhibitor, almost like a syringe, into the gormaganders. And she's scanning her instruments, and she says, it's working. I can see their neural levels returning to normal already.
That's excellent, Doctor. So what are your thoughts? Do you think they're being constantly assaulted even now? I mean, does the inhibitor prevent this telepathic link wherever it's coming from, or does it simply inhibit the progress of the decay or whatever it is that's harming them?
This inhibitor will temporarily reverse the effects of whatever telepathic contact they have received. However, if they continue to receive this telepathic contact, I worry that these symptoms might flare up again. I think maybe this inhibitor has just bought us time.
Do you have any suspicion on where it's coming from?
None. We've always known that gormaganders possess a certain level of intelligence, but we've never known them to have telepathic abilities.
Are there any creatures nearby that has that capability near the science station?
None that we're aware of.
It's not a natural progression of disease that's coming from within.
I don't believe so.
Perhaps we're going to get some answers when the captain returns.
Yes, I hope so. And Yong, I'm going to spend 2 more points of threat as one of the plasma storms kind of fires up out of nowhere and sends the worker bee spinning out of control.
Oh, whoa.
What does Commander Han do?
It's like, oh no, I just lost control. And then, like using his daring, obviously, he switches his mode from being very calm and under control to a fairly aggressive maneuvering of the craft to try and regain control.
Yeah, awesome. Give me a difficulty 2 daring plus con roll.
Yes.
Do we have any momentum?
Not anymore.
Okay. I'm going to pay a threat.
Okay.
So 2 success. Ooh, 1 critical failure. But it's 2 successes.
So you got 2 successes plus a 20?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you are able to stabilize the worker bee before it doesn't blow up, or neither of you get knocked around, maybe bumped and bruised inside the worker bee, but you're able to reestablish control. Unfortunately, the complication is that the engine has been shorted out by the plasma storm, and so you're just sort of adrift in space, and you can see the space lab in the distance, but you're stuck there for a while, and it gets pretty awkward pretty quickly as you're stuck in this tiny little worker bee with Commander Yevix.
Is there still power?
There's power. There is, like an emergency air supply. You're not going to suffocate or freeze to death, but the worker bee isn't going anywhere, at least until you can effect repairs.
Yeah, he hails the science station and says, "This is Commander Han. It seems a disruptive discharge has knocked out our engine, and we're adrift. Is it possible for you to activate the tractor beam to bring us in?"
You get a response from the space lab, and they say the space lab is not equipped with any kind of tractor beam, and you are currently occupying our only worker bee. So is there any chance you can effect repairs to restart the engine?
Well, that seems to be the only option that we have. And he looks at Dr. Yevix and he goes, "Well, how have you ever repaired the worker bee before?"
She says, "I'm a scientist, not an engineer, but I think maybe we'll stand a chance if we work together."
I agree.
And so as you guys get started on that, we will cut back to the beautifully manicured green lawn of Starfleet Academy with Captain Harriman pinning this cadet from his past to the ground, Biff. But Biff is speaking strangely.
Yes, I've just heard what he said. So I'll get off him and offer my hand to help him up. And just say, my apologies, you appeared to me as someone from my past who was quite aggressive. and I responded in kind.
Yes, we must use memories to communicate.
Ah, I think I understand. Well, if it helps, we're not an aggressive group of species. You can freely take a look at my memory to confirm that.
Yes, we see that now. We did not expect you to act aggressively.
And again, my apologies for that. But it seems that your presence in this space is affecting some of the creatures around here. We came to investigate to see if we could help them.
Yes, we wish to explore your reality.
And that's fine, but your presence is having some unintended consequences for the life forms in this area.
The ones before, we tried to communicate with them. It was exceedingly difficult.
They are barely sentient creatures, mostly driven by instinct. You will find it probably impossible to get anything meaningful from them.
This explains much.
Yep. As we humans put it, you've been barking up the wrong tree. But perhaps we can help. We're both more capable, and we do prefer peaceful contact with other life forms.
Paul, I'm going to spend, as you start to kind of establish first contact with whatever these things are, I'm going to spend my last two threat, and you start to feel a piercing headache. And maybe you don't know this, but back on the bridge of the Venture, there's like an emergency medical team surrounding you, trying to figure out what's happening. And as they run their medical tricorder over you, they see that the same sort of neural stress that the gormaganders suffered is now happening to you.
But all I can feel at Starfleet Academy is just a headache.
Yes, correct. But it's intense.
Okay, I probably suspect that something is going wrong somewhere then. So I'll let this creature know that we will try to make further contact as soon as we can. But it appears that your presence is also having a very bad effect on me as well. Can I ask you to return me to my ship?
But we wish to explore your reality.
And we'd be very happy to help you do that. But at the moment, it appears you're causing me some pain.
How are we causing pain?
I suspect because our minds are linked and you're potentially overloading my brain. Is there any other way we could potentially communicate? We have the capability to translate most electronic signals into language.
Yes, electronic signals. That is how we exist.
Well, if you return me to my ship, then to my reality, then I will arrange for some of our basic language databases to be communicated out into the surrounding storm area. See if you can pick up those transmissions and interpret them.
This would be acceptable.
Okay, can I go now? Because I've got a headache. I need to lie down.
We will await your signal. And there's a flash of light, and you open your eyes back in the command chair of the Venture with medical personnel surrounding you.
Ooh. Hi, guys. What's wrong?
One of the medics says, Captain, it was like a flash of lightning came out of the plasma storm, and it hit you directly, and you were suffering some kind of neural distress.
I believe I've just made first contact. Either that or it was a very weird dream. Okay, I'll come down to sickbay just for a scan so you can tell me that I'm okay. But in the meantime, I'll get our communications officer to start beaming our basic language databases out into the storm.
Excellent. So
And let me know if you hear anything back.
yeah, so you go down to sickbay and you're scanned and given a clean bill of health. You did undergo some kind of neural stress, but it appears to have ended. And the doctor says, doesn't have a problem returning you to normal duty. And when you return to the bridge, you see that your communications officer has looped the universal translator in and is basically translating messages from what looks like flashing lightning out inside this plasma storm, but having a conversation with something called the Unity.
Ooh. Okay. So we've managed to establish some sort of communication protocols.
Yes, sir. We send a message using electromagnetic discharges from the deflector into the plasma storm, and it responds.
Good old deflector, capable of absolutely anything. Okay, I'm assuming that we've got some sort of first contact protocols, information that we're allowed to disclose or that we should be sending. So let's start with those.
Yes, sir.
And I'll repeat my request as well that the whatever these beings are, that they stay as far away from the gormaganders as possible.
And you almost immediately get a response back from the plasma storm that the Unity understands. It meant no harm to those creatures, and it will no longer make telepathic contact with them.
Excellent. We're in agreement then. How are we doing on the repairs? Do we have auxiliary power or impulse drive back yet?
Yep, you can get impulse power now.
Okay, let's limp our way back to the science station then.
Okay, so as the Venture starts to make its return to the space lab, we cut back to inside the worker bee with Commander Han and Yevix. What's going on there?
Perhaps if we could disengage the power source and then re-engage it, it may reset the whole engine. Should we give that a try, Doctor?
It's worth a shot. Would you like to lead the task or would you like to assist?
Well, I'm a security officer, not an engineer, and you're definitely more logical than I am. I would follow your lead.
Okay, so she's got a reason plus engineering with a target number of 12. How would you like to assist, Commander Han?
He is going to get his hands dirty, go beyond the panel and then try to bypass a couple of these wires and try and see whether if that would, restart the power cycle.
Okay, so give me a control plus engineering roll. And you'll just roll one die since you're assisting.
That's 13. 1 critical success.
Oh, awesome. So the two of you working in concert, you find that you actually make a really good team, and you're able to get the engine of the worker bee fired back up.
Nice. Well, it seems like the solution was simple enough this time. We worked quite well together, Dr. Yevix.
Yes, Commander Han, I agree. And it appears for now that the gormaganders are out of danger, and I believe I owe you an apology.
It's not needed. But yeah, what's been bothering you? It seems like you look a little bit more aloof than usual.
When I learned that you were stationed aboard the Venture, it's true, I was not looking forward to seeing you again, because it brings back memories of what happened on the Trenton.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not logical, but part of me thinks that had you not been ordered to escort me to the shuttle bay, that perhaps Ensign Zafea might still be alive. And part of me has harbored guilt all these years.
I'm surprised that a Vulcan woman like you would feel guilt. It's a very human emotion,
We Vulcans do have emotions. We just strive to suppress them, to control them.
I try to get over the guilt myself all these years. It's been 12 years since that happened, right?
12 years,
But
7 months, and 11 days.
yeah, your tracking's a lot better than mine. But I gotta say, I haven't been very successful in
Oh shit.
forgetting what happened back then.
You okay, Miguel?
Yeah, good.
Okay, cool. Just making sure it wasn't an emergency or something.
Yeah, I'm just dealing with like a phone call. It's like great.
Well, yeah. If you gotta deal with it, deal
No,
with
it's fine. It's one of those like God, I think it's one of those extend your warranty for cars.
it. Okay. So the worker bee is working again and approaching the science lab. And the last thing that Yevik says to Commander Han is, working with you again has helped me to bring some closure to what happened on the Trenton. It has been good to see you again, Commander Han.
Same here, Doctor. It's we have a history together, and we survived both of these. So perhaps we could remind each other that we could go on, and we could take what had happened in the past as a lesson that would guide us forward.
Agreed. It is wise to try to learn from the past whenever possible. And the worker bee docks once again with the space lab, and the hatch hisses open, and Dr. Ozil is waiting for you as you step out of the worker bee.
So everything's good, guys?
Yeah, a bolt of lightning struck our worker bee out of nowhere. I still don't know where that came from, and I'm wondering whether if that's an ongoing threat for all of us.
Well, you're still here and all alive, so I think that should not be that worrisome.
But yeah, we were successful, right, Doctor? All the creatures are remedied.
Yeah, so Dr. Yevix goes over to a panel and pushes some buttons to access the sensor array. And she says, yes, the neural signs from all of the gormaganders are already returning to normal. It appears, Dr. Ozil, that your neural suppressor worked like a charm, as I believe the humans say.
Did we say that?
I don't know, maybe I made that up.
Sure you do. Well, I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Any word from the captain yet, Doctor?
Not much.
So that's perfect timing as Commander Han asks that question as you guys look out one of the big windows that looks out onto the plasma, the roiling plasma storms. You see a pretty breathtaking sight as the Constitution class starship, the U.S.S. Venture, emerges from these plasma storms, and you can see the lightning, the electromagnetic discharge kind of flashing behind it. And the ship, it almost has like a majestic air to it as it emerges from the storm.
Yep, we kind of singed the paintwork a little bit. But we're back.
Oh, good. So the ship wasn't destroyed. I guess we can all call this a grand success.
Yes.
Well,
at Captain School, this is what they would call a success.
Mm-hmm. At least you didn't have to write down a couple of dead red shirt names.
Yeah,
on
I haven't
our
checked
end,
for that
Captain,
yet.
on our end, Captain, all the gormaganders seem to be stable now. Should we return to the ship, sir?
I'll be coming over there, I think. We've got a fair amount of work to do. Unfortunately, we did have a severe power failure, and like I say, we burned some of the paintwork, so the engineering crews are going to have some work cut out for them for the next few days.
Power failure?
Yeah.
We had a similar situation in our craft also.
The good news is we made first contact.
Excellent.
So I don't think the gormaganders are going to have a problem from now on. or at least I hope not. The bad news is that if we continue with second contact, we might have to lay in a good supply of Advil.
That's bad.
Let's just say contact is a bit of a headache.
I look forward to your debrief, Captain.
Yeah, I think I might have to lie down first. I've got a bit of a migraine.
So Yevix says that whatever they have only modest engineering crews on the space lab, but whatever resources they have will be made available to get the venture back up and running. Is there anything else that you guys want to do aboard the space lab?
I'll come over and sort of pay my respects to the science team over there in Yevix, and I'll get the venture to transmit over the details of our first contact, and point out that, Doctor, it looks like you've got an awful lot of work to do, not just with the gormaganders.
Yes, these readings that you've sent over and this method of communication you've devised, this will create even more opportunities for exploration, for scientific exploration. I will send a full report to Starfleet, and my suspicion is they will send even more scientists and specialists out here to work with this unity that you made first contact with.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you guys want to do?
Yep, lie down in a dark room.
An excellent idea, Captain.
Hando's, we're going to look at the doctor and says, "Say, doctor, how are you with 3D chess?"
I actually like Parcheesi.
Maybe, but do you have any inclination to, go up against Commander Yevix over there? She's quite the player.
I guess it's always the time to learn, right?
Yevix says, Dr. Ozil, I would recommend that you never play Commander Han in 3D chess. He is a known cheat.
He's one of those poker card hounds where he just looks for easy marks.
An easy mark? Hardly.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is why I prefer Parcheesi.
In that case, Yevix pulls out say you're like in like a lounge aboard the space lab, and there's like a great view of the venture circling the lab and the plasma storms off in the distance. She pulls out a 3D chess set and she says, "Shall I set it up, Commander Han?"
It would be a pleasure to play again.
And so yeah, she starts setting the pieces on the board, and I think that would be an excellent place to end the episode. Exactly. Nice. Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. I'm gonna thanks for everyone who's watched the latest adventure of the U.S.S. Venture, and we'll see you next time on Star Trek Explorers.
Thank you, Fred.